Hey, my name is Hannah and I'm here to share my story about depression. Before I start, I just wanted to issue a quick trigger warning. I will be talking about depression and suicidal thoughts, so just wanted to let you know before I begin. Hey, my name is Hannah Martin and I am a survivor of suicide. And by survivor of suicide, I mean that I dealt with suicidal depression for almost 3 years. Throughout that time, I learned a lot, I overcame a lot, and I almost got arrested. Here's my story. The depression hit me hardest at the end of my freshman year in college. And so I know that we had psychologists here on campus, so I started to see one. And it actually worked out quite well for me. She helped me work through a lot of things that were going on in my mind, a lot of things that I needed to talk to someone about, and I highly, highly recommend that you see a psychologist. She saved my life. However, and I wish the story could get better, but that was month one. It all goes downhill from there. You see, I not only had depression on like the mental health side of things, I also had a physical medical condition that made the symptoms of depression worse and that had the exact same symptoms as depression, so it was hard to diagnose. I have what is called hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia just means low blood sugar. What that looks like is when I eat a meal, and if I don't eat the right foods at the right time, my blood sugar is like a roller coaster. It'll go up and it'll go down, especially if I eat sugary foods that make my blood sugar crash. All right, what this looks like in someone who has depression, or just anyone who has hypoglycemia, your moods, your blood sugar are connected. So when your blood sugar goes up, your moods follow it. But when your blood sugar goes down, your moods follow it. What does this look like for me? When my moods would get low, I combined my hypoglycemia, my moods, with my mental state. When my moods would get low, I would get suicidal. And so for the past 3 years, it's basically just me fighting with myself to not kill myself. It got so bad that for most of the time, my thoughts were, somebody please help me because I don't think I can do this anymore. All I want to do is just kill myself. Throughout that time, and I wish I could say that I thought it through, and because it does make sense that logically, all right, if you're already seeing a psychologist, maybe you should either see a psychiatrist and take medication, or you should see a doctor and get a blood test, and see if there's anything wrong with your body, because that's possible. And I knew it was possible, but at that time I didn't care about myself enough to actually invest in myself and to get that diagnosis. So I suffered needlessly for the extra 3 years. During that time, there was not much that gave me hope, and every day was a struggle to stay alive. However, there were 2 incidences that stood out that convinced me that I needed to stay here, and I'd like to share those with you today. First one, summer 2014. We all lost a beloved friend, a beloved mentor, a beloved actor. Robin Williams passed away summer 2014. A week before that, I had been planning my own death. I was about to pack up my stuff, write a letter, and end it. And so when we lost the great man that we all mourned, it really, really hit me hard. I'll never forget that day. I had the day off work and I went to the mall. And I remember sitting there thinking, if he is missed so much by the people who love him, his family, his friends, his fans, everyone who cares about him, then maybe I would be missed as deeply by the people who cared about me. So even though that didn't give me hope to keep living or didn't brighten up my world, it gave me enough to stay alive, especially when I was planning to die. So that's something that I'll never forget. Summer 2014. Fast forward a couple months, November 2nd, 2014, my grandfather passed away. He passed away from more natural causes / a heart condition. It wasn't related to suicide or depression. But I'll never ever forget this day. I'd gone home for the week to help my family plan the funeral. And they were all in my grandmother's kitchen. They were sitting around planning my grandfather's funeral, and I had gone out to get something. I came back, and before you get to the kitchen, there's this little hallway that leads to the dining room and leads to the dining room table. And I remember walking around that hallway, and then I stopped, and I just saw my family there, and they were planning my grandfather's funeral. And the one thought that stuck in my mind was I didn't want to kill myself because I didn't want my family to sit around planning my funeral. So even though with every fiber in my being I didn't want to live, I decided to stick around because I didn't want my family to plan my funeral. And I wish I could say that that time gave me the energy I needed to get better, or gave me the correct thought process or the correct steps, but no, I still suffered. Fast forward spring 2015. I was talking to my mom, and looking back, I know that night my blood sugar had gotten quite low because I hadn't eaten hardly anything that day, so it was quite low. And as I've said before, when your blood sugar gets low, for me my moods got dangerously low, like suicidal. That night I had an argument with my mom, and I told her how much I didn't want to be here. But that night I got specific, and I said details about how I wanted to end it, and it was graphic. And so my mom, she gave me one choice, and one choice only. She said that by tomorrow morning you need to call the doctor and make an appointment, or I will call the police and have you Baker acted and arrested. So that night my mom saved my life. The next morning I called, I made an appointment. Within a couple weeks I had my blood tested, and a couple weeks after that I was starting to do what the doctor had said. He put me on a diet plan, etc. A couple weeks after that I noticed my moods started to get better. And then a couple months after that I broke down crying because I never thought that I would be this happy. I never thought I would be this well. Suddenly my mind started to get better, my body started to get better, I had more energy, the color seemed to come back into my world because I was treating this hypoglycemia as well as I had treated the depression with a psychologist. But this was the ticket for me. I had to have treatment for both. So I highly recommend, if anyone is going through this, there are physical medical conditions that look like depression, have exactly the same symptoms, or you could have both. You could be like me and have both. So I highly recommend to talk to a professional, talk to a psychologist who can help you talk out your problems. A psychiatrist can help prescribe something to balance your brain, but also a medical doctor can help you with things such as blood sugar imbalances, etc. I made a website detailing hypoglycemia and just kind of giving some information on how to get professional help. The website is mindworthfightingfor.com, and I'll link it below. And it just gives a broad overview of hypoglycemia, also of another condition I had called adrenal fatigue. And that is one that made me sleep all day. It's where the adrenal glands, which are the glands that make the hormones that keep you awake or help you go to sleep, those adrenal glands, they just stop producing the hormones because they're so overworked. That's why I would sleep for like 14, 15, 16 hours a day. And so that got better with treatment as well. So for more information, you can click the link below. But what I wanted to say to you is, during that time of intense depression, I didn't think things would get better. I definitely didn't think I would make it out alive. And I sure as heck didn't think I would be as happy and as well as I am now. And of course there are bad days, but there are good days. that make me want to go back to my old self and tell her life is worth living, because there's going to be moments where you're going to say, I'm so glad I didn't kill myself. I'm so glad I hung on. So I encourage you to get help. And coming out on the other side, when I didn't think there was hope, I didn't think there was a reason to live, and I didn't want to live. I just wanted to die so badly. But coming out on the other side and seeing the hope and seeing the light on the other end of the tunnel, I can tell you with all honesty that there is help. There is hope and there is healing. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I encourage you to get the help you need, and I encourage you that things get better. Thank you.